Welcome back. We are rounding out our Small Appliance Quandaries series. This time, I'm Mindy Turner with the Curry County Cooperative Extension Service, your Family and Consumer Science Agent. Today, we're going to look a little bit, we've been talking about our small appliances and these handy things that are kind of fun to have around, the best way to use them and how we can use them. But that got me to thinking, what do I really need? There's all kinds of cool gadgets and great things out there, and a lot of things that have one job. They're made to do one specific thing. Well, do I really need that? Would I really use that? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. But ultimately, what are the essential things, whether I cook a lot or not as much, that I should have in my kitchen? Maybe you need to set up a college student to go out and do their apartment. Maybe you're looking for something to do a nice, for a wedding shower gift or a housewarming. There's a lot of different times when we need to go out and get people things that go in their kitchen that we do for gifts. What are the essential things that we should have on hand? Or maybe you just have a plethora of stuff. I've been going through some of my cabinets. I'm like, why do I even have this? What things should I get rid of that I don't need to have in my cabinets? If they're out of the way and it's not bothering you, that's perfect. You just keep them there. But are there things that I can get rid of because I have the essentials and the things that I need? So let's run through real quick, what are the essential things you should have on hand in your kitchen? Let's start with knives. This is a beautiful knife block, but most people aren't necessarily going to need this many knives with this type of thing. Maybe you don't have the space or a place to put it out. So what are the basic ones that we're going to want to have? And so of course we're going to want to have a chef's knife. A large knife that we can cut, maybe roast, something large that we need to cut. Have your chef's knife to do that with. Okay. We're also going to want to have a paring knife and maybe two of these. Okay, a smaller knife. Use a basic knife safety for the things you're going to do. You can use it to peel. You can use it to slice. Grate your fruits, your vegetables, those kind of things. So we might want to keep that one on hand. And then a serrated knife. So like this, probably more like a bread knife, but it has that serrated edge. I'm not sure how to get it turned where you can see it. There you go. That serrated edge, because there's a variety of things, particularly bread, but a lot of things that are just going to slice better with a serrated edge. So if you have those types of knives on hand, you're going to have what you need to prepare pretty much anything that you're going to do. So when we look at, like I said, everything in the block, we don't necessarily need or have to have this. I mean, it has a sharpener, it has kitchen scissors, which are always handy. It has your steak knives also available, so you always have a sharp one. Okay, all of those things are great, but again, it's a larger expense to do that, and it takes up more space. So if you have your basic knives that you need, that's going to get you through. Okay, and then of course, cutting boards. Now, one of the things you're going to want to think about, when I was growing up, we had one cutting board that we used all the time. We pulled it out, and then you washed it between uses. As long as you're washing it between uses with hot water and soap, you should be okay and probably in pretty good shape. But one of the things we want you to think about is having enough cutting boards that you can avoid cross-contamination. Now, in some cases, 2 or 3 is probably plenty, maybe just 2 that you can use. One for meat, one for vegetables. While you're preparing that meal, wash them up good. This one's always designated for meat. This one's always going to be fruits and vegetables. So what I have here, this is an entire set that is made specifically to designate for your different items. Like you see, the blue one I have on top is for fish. If we go back, the yellow one's hard to see, but so here's the purple one, and it's going to tell you it's for roasts and meat. You're not going to need this many, but I like the visual of this to help you remember, hey, I need to use separate cutting boards for separate things to not cross-contaminate those items, because it's really not worth getting sick. So we want to be aware of our basic food safety practices like we've been talking about all along, and some things that we need to take care of. So I'm going to set those to the side. You're going to want to have your pots and pans, okay? Something that you can cook in. These don't go in the microwave, and that's okay. So having a nice set of pots and pans with your different sizes, so you want to think about having a 9 to 10 inch frying pan. That's a pretty standard size. I have a smaller one here that's good for, again, cooking for one person, or if you want to do smaller amount, it's almost like a crepe pan kind of size. but a 9 to 10 inch one should do most of what you want to do. 2 to 4 quart saucepan, going to be big enough to do most of what you want. And then a 6 to 10 quart stock pot, which your stock pots, of course, are your larger pots. Mostly what I do with these, of course, is pasta, making spaghetti, putting those kind of things, because you've got a lot of room in here to put your pasta, your water, and boil. Soups, stews, some of the things that maybe you're not going to make in your Instapot or your crock pot, you would put in one of these larger stock pots like this. So having those on hand is going to, again, ensure that you have a size that's compatible with whatever it is that you're trying to make or put together in your kitchen. Okay, so along with that, mixing bowls. Most mixing bowls you can buy a set. It's nice if you can get a set with lids. Okay, that's not always the case. They come, again, they're ceramics. This is glass. You can get plastic ones, whatever that preference is. So it's nice if they have lids where you can also use them for storage. They come in a variety of sizes, so a set that's typically 3. I only have 2 here today, but typically 3 mixing bowls in the different sizes. Again, it's going to allow you the versatility to do pretty much whatever meal item thing that you want to do with those. So then for baking, putting things in the oven. Now remember, I'm not a baker, well, but if you do casseroles or a lot of the items we talked about even with the air fryer that we might want to make in the oven because we don't have an air fryer, you're going to need the appropriate pans to do that. So what you're going to want to have on hand, a couple of sheet pans. We call them cookie sheets is what I grew up calling them, but so sheet pans that you can have. A 9 by 13 basic casserole. Again, it can be aluminum, it can be metal, it can be a glass. There's a lot of different things. Obviously plastic's not going to go in your oven, but there's a lot of things like that that you can do. And then you might want to also have on hand, you have the 9 by 13, which is a pretty standard size. You might also want to have the 8 by 8, the smaller square one, so that you can make smaller portions or smaller type items. A lot of your mixes now will, if it's cornbread or something along those lines, will call for that 8 by 8 pan, so you can just make that easy on yourself. And of course you're going to want to have your wet measuring cups and your dry measuring cups and spoons on hand to do that. We have a whole nother video that talks about how to measure and when you need to use what. But you're going to want to make sure you have these things on hand in your kitchen as well, because you just never know when you're going to need to measure something out. And some of us can guess, most of us cannot, and still have the recipe turn out the way that we want it to. Of course, a can opener can be electric, can just be a handheld one like this, but you need to be able to open those cans to do anything with them, whatever recipe you're wanting to follow. And then a vegetable peeler. Some people are really good at doing that with a knife, some not so much, so it's an easy small thing to have on hand that you can use with lots of different types of fruits and vegetables just to take the peels off really quickly. Of course, you know, maybe some wooden spoons, larger mixing spoons that you're going to have to use with your bowls to stir things on the stove, all of that type of stuff that you're going to want. And some of y'all are thinking, well, we know this. Why are you telling me that? You'd be amazed at how many people don't or have never really thought about it. And so some of you right now are thinking, I have that. Where is that? I don't know where I put it. And if you have it at the top of the drawer or in a place that's easily accessible, you can use it because it's there. And maybe having that one item that's multifunctional will benefit you more than having 10 specialty gadgets that each only do one thing. So your wooden spoons, your rubber spatulas, of course a flat spatula. I think in the 4-H project we actually call this a turner because that's the idea behind it, so that you can turn things, flip things, stir things. Some tongs are always nice, particularly doing hot stuff, doing meat. If you use the grill, of course you're gonna have grill tongs and all these other specialty things. But as your essentials, just your minor stuff to be in your kitchen, you wanna consider having some tongs. And then a whisk. Yes, I'm gonna tell you right now, if you don't have a whisk, use a fork. It will do the job, but as you get into larger, bigger things that you want to froth up better, or sometimes even sauces, a whisk is great to have on hand. They also make, if you're doing that type of thing on the stove and your nonstick cookware, this is a metal whisk. You can actually get some now that are silicone so that you can use them with your cookware as well. So anything that you have, essential or otherwise, you need to learn to take care of it, learn how you do, and obviously we don't want to have to replace it. Most of these things are staples and they will last you forever if you take good care of them. Okay, so then of course you're going to need to have some pot holders. All of those things we're putting on or in the oven are going to get hot. We need to be able to pick those up. Towels, dish rags, things that you can use, of course, to clean up and take care of things on the other end. And you're going to want to have that meat thermometer, an instant read thermometer. Check the temperature of what you're cooking, regardless of which appliance, which cooking method, what you're doing. You're going to want to check that to make sure that we're meeting those food safety guidelines. This is the basic stuff that would outfit an entire kitchen. So again, if you're looking to just clean out your drawers, if you're looking to provide gifts for someone, get someone set up in their own kitchen, these are the things to consider. Again, I'm Mindy Turner. This has been our series on small appliance quandaries and checking out what you can have in your kitchen. Hopefully you've learned some ways that you might save some money or make better use of your dollar and take better care of the items that you have. If you'd like to receive our newsletter or ask a question, go to our website, curryextension.nmsu.edu. Click on Family Health and Wellness and you'll see the links. You can request that newsletter, hard copy, or by email. Always, you can just stop by our office or give us a call. We'd be glad to follow up with you. I hope you enjoy your kitchen. Thank you.